Dear Saint Ryan, why come you ain't never run a faith build before? Hey Saint, you ever given any thought to running a faith build?
You want me to run a faith build?
Yeah, won't you play a faith build?
Okay, I'll play a faith build. Welcome to Dark Souls 2. It's faith build. I'm a Hide Knight who uses the sword and the spear, and they're lightning infused, and doing invasions with my faith build. Here's the faith build you wanted. It's a different game. Invasions in Dark Souls 2. We gave you soul memory so that if you knew how to twink, it would just be a goddamn nightmare for everybody. And then we say soul memory's not good. But then they put in the agape ring, and guess what? If you have no idea what you're doing, you're getting invaded by people who do. Dark Souls 2. It was a good idea. We really thought it through. Don't go AFK, because there's no red eye orb. Which means, if I invade you, and you're away from the controller, I'm gonna break all your shit, and then poison you to death. Because, well, guess what? I have to use this orb. They're limited. I have a limited amount of orbs. So, guess what? It was a good idea. Dark Souls 2, where you rarely find gankers and or co-opers, but when you do, it's still pretty much just business as usual, I guess. Not a lot of summons in the year Y2K, plus the age you have to be to buy a pack of cigarettes, and one. Miracle build. He casts heal, because there's no Estus in Dark Souls 2 Invasions. So, playing a faith build makes fucking sense. Hey, here's a fun fact. Dark Souls 2 content creators. Where were you at? I'm running a faith build. I'll show the build off a little later. I'll show you the stats so you can look at them. But here's a question. Why is it when I go to YouTube and I try and look up Hide Knight sword and Sunlight Blade build, that's not a thing? No one thought to do this. No one thought to lightning infuse a Hide Knight sword with lightning and then cast Sunlight Blade on it so that you have literally all of the lightning damage. No, that's not the case at all. I just no one put it on YouTube. You, YouTube audience, you're lucky to live in like, if you didn't care about Dark Souls 2 PvP, if you joined the train on Dark Souls 3, consider yourself blessed that if you were curious about a build, you could probably type it into fucking YouTube, and some idiot would have tried to put a whip on a invader build. Somebody did it, and no, I'm not making fun of Judas, I'm making fun of myself. Judas is the man. I can parry! I'm doing parries with a straight sword in Dark Souls 2. I can parry you while I'm using a straight sword, and it can parry you. Because we thought that was, hey, why not? Why don't we just do that? Some things, they don't change though, regardless of what game you're playing. And that's how many eggs a host can keep inside of their chicken anus, their cloaca. Many Dark Souls players reproduce by laying eggs. You'll know who they are because when you invade them, they'll, instead of losing, they'll try and disconnect on you. Their fathers are not proud of them or their lifestyle choices. It's not like, you're still fucking dead. Was it a good idea? In seriousness, I was absolutely... I went to YouTube, and I was like, Hide Knight sword plus Sunlight Blade. No one, I couldn't find a video. I saw videos of people casting Fire Buff on Hide Knight sword. I Google searched it. I looked at Steam forum discussions, and you know what I saw? I saw people talking about running the Hide Knight sword as a 40-40 quality weapon. Alright, The Hide Knight sword has innate lightning damage built into it. It has split damage. Split damage isn't good, okay? But you can lightning infuse it just like you can a Lothric Knight Greatsword in Dark Souls 3. The difference is, if you lightning infuse a Lothric Knight Greatsword in Dark Souls 3, you can't then turn around and cast Lightning Blade on it, unless you like do some tumble buff madness, right? Well, Dark Souls 2 isn't like that. Dark Souls 2 will absolutely let you cast Sunlight Blade on a lightning-infused, innate lightning Hide Knight sword, or a Hide Knight spear, or a Hide Knight lance. You pick. So the damage can get pretty good, and it's mostly lightning damage, which means physical defense thresholds, need not apply. You're doing mostly elemental damage. I was switching it up between using just the sword, just the spear, sword in the right hand, spear in the left hand, and then spear in the right hand, sword in the left hand. And I'm playing with base adaptability, by the way. This character has not leveled up adaptability because I'm not a fuck boy pussy man who has to have all the iframes on my fucking roll. I've got enough attunement for two attunement slots. I can cast 2 spells: Sunlight Blade and Great Heal. Now, leveling up attunement does level up your agility a little bit. I think my agility is at 90. But yeah, I also only have like 11 endurance or some stupid shit like that. Ever since playing Bloodborne, I've just come to understand how absolutely unnecessary endurance is, especially since this guy doesn't use a shield. And we're only using Hide Knight stuff, so I couldn't use a shield even if I wanted to, because Hide Knights don't use shields. But it's okay, you don't need a shield, you can parry with your straight sword. That's awesome. Another awesome thing is it's Dark Souls 2, which means I can do the dual wield, sword and spear, and it doesn't matter which hand is holding which weapon, because Dark Souls 2 is cool like that. I can have the sword in my right hand, and I have the full moveset with R1 and R2. Then I have the spear in my left hand, and guess what? I have the full moveset with L1 and L2. I can even do running attacks with my left hand weapon. So if I'm doing, if I want to do a running spear attack, and the spear's in my left hand, I can do a running L1 and still do a running attack with my offhand weapon. How cool is that? It's really cool. It's great. You cannot backstab or take a critical with a weapon that's in your left hand, unfortunately, but that's the only caveat to the fact that you get all this awesome moveset. And that's not even, I'm not even power stancing. I don't have a lot of strength on this build because I intended to have quite a bit of strength on it, and I had considered doing Hide Knight sword power stance, but the spear takes so much dexterity to wield that it just didn't seem worth it. Also, I don't know if you're watching this invasion in the background. You should be. I can't believe people had the fucking gall to complain about Dark Souls 3 invasions. There's literally no invasion timer. This dude is summoning phantoms faster than I can kill them, which is insane. And another bad point for Dark Souls 2, I can't get hit, because if I do, I will be infinitely stun locked because there's no toggle escape in this game. And it doesn't have the Dark Souls 3 stun lock mechanic, where every subsequent hit while stun locked has less stun lock, meaning you might take a few hits, but you can eventually roll out. Dark Souls 2 doesn't have that, so I can't get hit. All these guys using the great swords, there's like 4 of them. If I get hit once, then they can all just combo that in together. Another shitty thing Dark Souls 2 did, I can't use items as an invader. Now, I understand you don't want me to use healing items, but you should at least allow me to use the items that replenish my spell usages so that I can cast Great Heal. This guy is summoning people faster than I can kill them, and all he has to do is camp the bonfire room. Now, with a better build, you could totally win this, but that was not the case for me, as you can see. But fun build, and faith builds are fantastic in Dark Souls 2. You get cool buffs, you get cool spells, and you can heal as an invader, which is fantastic because, you know, a lot of times, even if you outplay two opponents, what will end up happening is you outplay one, and then here comes the second, and he doesn't have to, you know, he doesn't even have to really beat you. He just has to beat you at half health, or, you know, whatever. So it's nice to have. Most people, I think, would play Hexers is a big you know, meta thing. Everybody loves playing fucking Hexers in Dark Souls 2. Ran across so many people playing